Hey guys, just doing a bit of follow-up work on the Piard Tell. Sensitivity is very low, so I thought alignment and everything else. Before that, I thought I'd just check that the audio amp can put out a reasonable volume. And I noticed that around the back there is actually a pickup input, which is not very well marked, but it is there. I realized that there's no way to select it. So all you have is like a wave selector here, which is medium wave and long wave. And that's it. So what I discovered is this guy goes straight into the audio output stage. There's no volume control. So the volume has to be controlled by the source. So if I start playing something... turn up the volume a bit. And if I go onto the volume control in the front of the set, it doesn't do anything. But at least we get good quality sound, and I can get plenty of volume. Had a perfume counter on the Rue de la Paix. So the goal is to be able to get my medium wave stations coming in at that sort of volume. And so unfortunately all I have to go on is a hand-drawn diagram, which probably doesn't reflect accurately what's in my chassis anyway. But yeah, we'll go tweaking alignment and see if we can make this thing pick up a little better. Okay guys, here's a really odd one. I don't have any radio projects on the go at the moment because I'm doing a complete refit out of the workshop, and so it's just a complete sort of shambles at the moment. So it'll be a little while before I get back to it. But as part of the tidying up and cleaning out and stuff, I found this unusual beast, which is a guitar practice amp, which has been buried under a ton of stuff for over 20 years. So when I dug it out, I cleaned it off. This front here was covered with a black foam panel, which had completely disintegrated. So when I just went to rub it, it just all disintegrated and fell away. Yeah, so it's got 3 separate drive units. In theory, a woofer, a mid-range, and a tweeter. And the whole idea, I guess, here is with this thing is you would have your backing track playing on this cassette machine here, which is variable speed. So if your whatever this was playing wasn't quite the same key as how you tuned your guitar, you could tweak the speed of the cassette so that you didn't have to keep retuning your guitar all the time. Then you could plug in mics in your guitar or other alternative external sound sources, and basically do various pieces of mixing and matching and stuff, and record the output on this deck over here. And you could do this multiple times. So you could play a backing track here, play or sing over it, and record the result on here. Then take this guy and put him back over here, play that, and then record. And so you can multi-track basically. Now since this thing had been sitting covered in cobwebs and dirt and dust and everything for so many years, I thought the chances this thing may not even power up. However, when I fired it up, there was a very loud hum for about 10 seconds, as I guess the electrolytic quickly reformed, and then it was fine. But I figured there is no way the belts will have survived in the decks and all that sort of stuff. But to my amazement, it works really well. I mean, the fast forward and all the different speeds are spot on. To give it a good clean up. So for instance, if I play on this deck, just master volume. Yes, I need me some idea is. So that guy's playing away, then you can plug in your guitar and play along, record over here, etc., etc. But as you can see, the rewind speed is like superb, chord, superb, and as you heard, it plays reasonably well. Same over here. For the master volume on the effects this side. So yeah, it's a little bit of an oddity. I mean, when I first dig it out, I was thinking I could just sort of strip it down and maybe make a test amp for the bench. But of course, the whole audio chain is mono. I was going to take the back off to have a look inside, but you can't. The back doesn't come off. It's all a single unit. So you have to dismount these modules and take them out from the front. And so I am just so keen to see how the belts and these things work that I'll take at least one of them out and have a look. And then yeah, I'll just put it away somewhere because it's bulky, takes up room, but I really don't know what to do with it. Anyway, an odd one. It's made by Philips. Its model number is D6650, made in Austria, and bought in the UK back in the late 80s, I guess. A couple of recent eBay purchases. So this one is a multi-band radio receiver, and I got this because I wanted a sort of a reference for good reception for particularly shortwave in my neck of the woods. And this one was on eBay at a pretty decent price because the antenna was all busted. I can't find an exact replacement, so I've put a closest one I could find on there. But yeah, the reception is really good and the audio quality is pretty good, and it has things like RF gain and controls on it, etc. Yeah, so you find this particular one is called an ELTA 3569, I think. But you'll find half a dozen different manufacturers who OEM this thing, so I'm not quite sure who owns the original actual design. But it's a pretty cool receiver. It's pretty heavy. It's AC or two different types of batteries. You can use C cells or AA's. So you have two different types of batteries you can put in here. And you have external antennas of different types. So you can have a BNC one or just regular twin cable here. And you have an IF out connector as well. And so you can select sensitivity, remote or local, internal or external antennas. And over on this side we got line outs, battery select, which type of batteries you want to use. You can have a DC, external DC power supply, or you have your AC. So it's got quite a lot. It's got to boot, it's got a timer and a little alarm and all that sort of stuff on it. But what impressed me really, having seen some demos online, was just the sound quality.
We have a network which deals...
Oh, is that going to help? Because that's some guy on the phone. Anyway, he'll play a demo of the audio later. So that's that one. And as I said, I got that as a reference because when I repair old radios, I'm never quite sure if the reception on, particularly in shortwave, which is my favorite, is is okay, and it's just that the reception in my neighborhood is bad, or that the set is weak and I still have more work to do. So I'm kind of use this guy as my reference, and it does pick up the stations pretty well. So at least so that's the reason I got that guy, and that's pretty good. Now, one of the while listening to this guy, there is a single English language station in this part of the world. Broadcasting on FM, and I heard on listening to their channel that their FM license expires next month, and they were hugely surprised to discover that the authorities wouldn't allow them to renew it. And somewhere along the discussion, one of the folks mentioned that in this part of the world, the authorities have decided to phase out FM broadcasting completely by 2017. And move everything to DAB or DAB Plus. And I thought, oh great, now I need an FM transmitter if I'm going to play my music on my FM radios. So, this guy just arrived this morning. So this is an FM transmitter. And it comes with all sorts of bits and pieces. So it comes with a whole bunch of antennas, so you can make that spider-like antenna, long coupling lead, power supply brick, and yeah, the only sort of oddity is it comes with a mini jack, which one assumes is to feed your MP3 player into this thing, except on the back it has these nice gold phonos, so but that's no big deal. So you can have your DC power goes in here, you have a simple on-off switch, antenna input, and then around the front you can select all sorts of things to do with which frequencies and muting, and you can store frequencies and so on and so on. So I'm gonna fire this guy up and see how this guy works, because yeah, hopefully I can get it to provide decent short range transmission, so that when they pull the plug on FM, I'll still have some way of listening to my radios. Well guys, this is the main reason that I haven't been posting any videos lately. This is what I came to call my super bench project. So essentially I was, as you guys know, for years working off a tiny little woodworking bench. And so what triggered the need for this, or in fact to completely redo the workshop, including the bench, was I was doing some work on the table saw for my neighbor. And it was, let's put it this way, I nearly had an accident. And so I thought, wake up call, you gotta sort out your workshop so it's safer. So, this is Super Bench. It is, I guess the construction is a little bit odd, because it's the two side frames are mortise and tenon and glued. The entire rest of the bench is put together with screws and carriage bolts and stuff like that, so that it can all come apart. It also has to freestand, because I'm not really allowed to go drilling holes in the walls in this building, and so yeah, that kind of dictates how you make it. First time for me to do any of this, what I'd call large scale joinery work, as opposed to smaller scale regular carpentry. And now I know why there are different disciplines in woodworking, because the challenges are altogether different, and yeah, not the least being weight. So the main surfaces are 21mm high quality plywood, which weighs a ton. So what 21mm I guess is about 7/8 of an inch. So the bench top and the back and the side panels are made of that. I was also recycling some wood, so there was the kid's bed upstairs, which I'm getting rid of. So I grabbed some panels from that, one there in the bottom as well, which is just used to provide rigidity for the subframe. And I didn't want any upright beams underneath, so I have maximum storage. So probably on this side here to the right I'll put a set of drawers, but again they'll be completely freestanding so that I can I don't want to build it as an integral part of the bench, because then it complicates dismantling it later if I need to. And yeah, so I've got 2 power strips. The lower one is just direct feed from the supply. Then this is the out to the isolation transformer. And then this is the return from the isolation transformer. So this is isolated no earth. This is regular straight out of the mains. So yes, I tried to remember as much as I could. So the shelf brackets are spaced just enough to take my component drawers. So there's 2 more of those going to go in here. This one's all the caps. There'll be another one right beside it for resistors, and another one at the end for nuts and bolts and all that other old stuff. Haven't sorted out what to do for tubes or valves. I don't have that many of them, so probably they'll just go into drawers underneath when I get the drawers. So, still work to do. Some dangerous sharp edges to get rounded off and stuff. But mostly there, so I just thought I'd share with you guys what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks. And since it will never ever look this clean again, I thought now would be a good time to show it to you rather than later. So there we go. Hopefully I'll get this done in another week or so. And then I'll take some time off on vacation with one of my boys. And yeah, September, hopefully we'll be back at the bench big time.